What's up, vlog? Hey, so today we're going to talk about goal setting, and a little more than just goal setting. We're going to specifically be talking about vision boards. But I'm not qualified for that because I just started mine. I'm going to talk to you. I want to introduce you guys to my buddy I mentioned before, Jonathan. He's kind of the master of vision boards. So we're going to let's go. Come on, let's go talk to him. Jonathan's cranking his music, you can't hear. Hey! There he is, Jonathan!
Blasting my loud music while I clean.
The Vision Master!
Hey, we putting on a show, trying to catch a vibe. We do this every time, like na 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 na. Feeling like I'm on the highway, cause everything been going my way. Now they looking at me sideways. I'm like, na 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 na. This is where I wanna be. Na na na. Never ever gonna leave.
Okay, so we're here with my buddy Jonathan.
Hi everyone.
I told you guys about him yesterday, so if you didn't see yesterday's episode, go watch it. It's the one where I got the free pizza.
You got a free pizza?
Without, yeah. I didn't even share it with you.
But he brought me pizza today, so we're all good. We're all good.
We're all good. Actually, technically, 2 days of pizza because you only eat half of it and you're taking the other half home.
I'm eating the other half right now,
okay.
So.
We normally go to one place and we get 2 slices, and we go to another place and the slices are like 3 times the size.
Pizza.
And he's like, I can't eat both of these. I wasn't expecting this.
I could have gotten just one. I would have been fine.
All right. So, anyways, back to topic. I talked, I think it was like 10 episodes ago or so, about vision boards. Well, goal setting in general. We did a whole episode on goal setting. I'm gonna scoot up here so I can see you guys a little bit better. We did a whole episode on goal setting, and I talked about how I was doing vision boards for the first time and how I've been meaning to do them for years, but I just never got around to it. And I can't remember if I said something about Jonathan then or not, but yesterday I promised to have him on the vlog at some point. I figured, wait, I need to do an episode on vision boards, and I'm going to need to have Jonathan on and put them together because Jonathan has been killing it with vision boards. So why don't you give a quick background, don't talk about this year yet, but give a quick background of your vision board experience.
Okay, yeah, so I've been listening to a Christian motivational speaker that I love. Her name, I'll just give it because I highly recommend you listen to her. Her name is Terry Savelle Foy, and she's been talking about vision boards for I don't know how many years, but she talks about how her whole life dramatically changed when she decided where she wanted to go, where God was calling her, and just put those on a board so that you can see where you're going. She says your mind thinks in images, not in text. So she recommends that you do set out your goals in writing, and then you find a picture that your brain like associates with, yes, this is what it looks like. Put it on a board and go after it. And I think she actually has several as well. From what I understand, she's got one for the year and one for her life.
Like I'm doing.
Like you're doing, yes, as far as I know. So I just have one that I update every year, and some of those things are life goals that I'm hoping I'll at least be able to go in that direction this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done it. This is my 3rd year in a row. So I did it 2018, 19, 20, and 21. So this is my 3rd year doing it.
So you've got 2 years under your belt and you're going into your 3rd year.
I'm going to my 3rd year.
Tell me about 2021. So you redid them, right? Because you had 2020. What did you use? I remember we had a conversation. We were painting the studio, and you said like you had mixed results. You were like, what, 50-50, do you think?
Yeah, so I at least started accomplishing every goal. Like I started going in that direction, but I had some financial goals where I wanted to like save a certain amount, and I did save some. I saved a good amount, but it wasn't half the amount I wanted.
But it's 100% more than you would have done if you didn't do anything.
Not only that, but also during the pandemic when that first started, a lot of my a lot of my priorities were switched in a whole different direction.
Yeah,
So I
like
kinda-
new TV, soundbar, Disney Plus.
that was December of 2019. That wasn't 2020. I thankfully already had those things.
That's
or I
right.
would have
Because
been
I told you to
screwed.
get the soundbar, and you're like, yes, I'm so
I'm
glad
so
I did
glad I did because I was able to watch movies at home when we were stuck at home for a while. But yeah, one of the things I did is I got eye surgery. That was
Okay.
something I wanted to do. I wanted 2020 in 2020. I have 2020. So some of those things are things like that was totally up to me. It was up to me to schedule the appointment to make
Mm-hmm.
it happen. And then other things are how am I going to get there?
See, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you, like, when you do it, because when you do, like, goals, right, normal goals, so not vision boards, because vision board is almost like if goals are like, let's say, let's just for the sake of conversation, call them a science, and then there's, like, the secret stuff, which is, like, a mystic art, which, so, like, if you, like, vision boards is almost like putting those two together. There's, right, like, a little bit of art and science.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So I was just gonna ask, like, how do you do? Because in goals, it's like a strict no-no. You don't put anything you can't control. So like, you would never say, "I want to lose 50 pounds." You would say, "I want to go to the gym 5 days a week, every week," because
Right,
you
and
can't
that's
control
very
the
true.
one you can.
Right.
The vision boards, like, you can do some dreaming, right? There's some stuff in there that you
can.
can't necessarily.
Yeah. And I think that's like what I'm doing. For example, I do have a fitness goal, and I'm like, so this is what my goal is, and how do I get there?
You want to look
Well,
like Arnold Schwarzenegger by the end of the year? Is that your goal?
No.
Going to pump you up.
I mean, I'm starting to already doing the push-ups every morning. I'm feeling my muscles are. I'm getting there.
There we go. There we go.
But yeah, so like so the way I do it is, what do I want by the end of the year? How am I going to get there? What does it look like on a day-to-day basis? And it might be week-to-week basis. So obviously I get paid once a week. So how much am I going to save?
Okay.
That's a week-to-week. There's some things that I do that are basically by the end of the year I have to get to this point, and how am I going to get there? Well, at some point during the year I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to set up this appointment at some point during the year. I have to do some of it's in your control, some of it's not, some of
Okay.
it's just dreaming way out there. But I think ultimately there's something that you can do about every dream. If you want to be a famous singer, well, are you working to improve your voice every day?
Okay.
There's something you can do. Maybe you won't be that famous singer by the end of the year, but you'll have greatly improved your vocals so that you
Got it,
are
yeah.
on track to being that singer that you want to be.
Yeah. All right. That's good. Okay. So tell us now about 2021, because you've made several comments. Because this is recording this on the 7th. Is
Yes.
it 7th of January 7th? How has it been going for you? Well, first off, before we get to that, what do you do? Like, anything you didn't finish in 2020, do you move it over and then add new things? Do you start from scratch? Like, how did you come up with your new vision board for 2021?
Some of them are moved over. Some of them are things I started.
So
and
things
did
you
not
still
finish.
really wanted, you just
Yes.
moved over.
And I think there's a few things that I'm like, maybe I didn't really want that as much as I thought I did, and
just
then in that case, I
cut it?
just scratch it off.
All right, cool.
There are some things that I don't put on the vision board that I'm like, I think I want this, and we'll see how things
Okay.
start turning out. So there's even a few things that I'm like, I probably should add that to my vision board because
Okay.
I've decided I do want to go after that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. I was even looking at my 2019 vision board, and some of the stuff from 19 is on my 21 because I'm like,
Okay.
I started it then, I kind of picked it up, put it down a little bit. 2020, same thing, and now I'm like, this is year I'm gonna go after it. So there is some.
So
of
it's
that
almost
stuff
like
on there.
an incubator process to where most people will just say, "Oh, I would love to write a book," and that's it, right? Every year, "Oh, I would love to be an author. I'd love to write a book." All that kind of stuff. Sorry, I always get paranoid and I always like double check the microphone is on. So yours
They
would.
haven't heard us that whole time.
Yeah, no, it's on. So it's like, "Oh, I'd love to write a book," versus you're saying like, "Oh, 2019." Not that you had a book, but it'd be like 2019. "Oh, I'd like to write a book," and then you're like, "Oh, well."
Maybe write a chapter and then you
Or like I
don't
took a
finish
course or
it,
something, and then
right?
2020 you're like, "Yeah, I wrote out some stuff. I have some chapters." And then in 2021 you're like, "No, I'm actually gonna do
I'm
it."
writing the book this
Yeah.
year.
Okay, so you can even incubate some of that. That's cool. So okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, like, what are some of the results? Now you can go as detailed or
Right.
generic as you want, big as you want, or what you're comfortable with. Like, I'm not saying like, tell us to the
Right.
dollar, but like, what are some of the results you've had this year already?
I mean, the one thing is that I've noticed that with the daily deciding that I'm going to do it, I've been able to figure out things I haven't been able to figure out before.
Yeah.
So like one of my goals is musical, and there's a lot of technical stuff I was trying to figure out that I could not figure out. And once I decided I'm going to figure this out, this is the year I'm going to excel in music. I've been able to figure those things out just like
No
like
problem.
that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah, but I've had quite a bit of financial success.
And it's funny because you just told me on Sunday. So on Sunday you told me, yeah, I've got some goals, like financial goals
Right.
that I want to hit, and I'm going to focus on this year.
I was like, one of them I can do. The other two are
Yeah.
I'm gonna try very hard.
I think you said
but
are in God's
they're gonna-
hands.
They're gonna have to be God's
Yeah.
provision.
So then, like 3 days later, I think it is, I get a text, and you're like, "Oh, hey, step 1 accomplished." Again, not my information. I won't go into it, but you're like, "Oh, step 1 accomplished." And then today, you're like, "Oh, step 2 accomplished."
Right, so one of my goals is accomplished already. One of the things I wanted for 7 days. Oh, and also my fitness goal. One of my best friends
Oh, yeah.
actually asked me on day 3 of the new year, "Hey, you look really good. Have you been losing weight?" I was like, wow. And then just from walking on the treadmill and drinking some water. I haven't even gotten to the diet
You haven't even
yet.
gotten to the legal steroids yet. I mean, what kind of results
Those
you
are
can
not
have?
on my vision board. But it's just amazing. I think, you know, a lot of people think it's, like you said earlier, a mystical thing, you know, whatever. But I really think it's that, you know, when you need to put the goal in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
So you can see, this is what I'm going toward. This is the person I want to be. And I think that's where it comes from. For me, it's like, okay, you know, I'm going to be 27 this year. And I'm like, there's some things that, you know, I want to improve, some things I need to improve, some things I don't want to take with me. And when I turn 27, I don't want to be this person anymore. So some of them are personal goals. I want to grow emotionally in this area, you know, things like that. But it just helps to put this overall picture on your board of who you want to be, you know, and they say even like what you want to drive and where you want to live and everything. Like picture your life
Yeah.
and where you want to go this year, and then also believe God is, you know, to take care of those goals as well.
He
Very
said
important.
drive. I have a Ram truck on my vision board.
Do you?
Yeah.
I haven't
Because we
used-
have all this snow, and I have my like little car.
Yeah.
And there's all the snow. I'm like, oh, this sucks. And Pastor has his truck. His is a Ford. He has his truck, and he's like, oh, just pop it in 4-wheel drive, no problem. And I'm like, I can't do that. So I'm like, you know, and I live 15 minutes away from the studio, and so I'm
Right.
like, come on, so I'm like, yeah, I put that on there, boom. Because first I
Nice.
was like, okay, I like Ram trucks. I'm not a big car guy. I sold them for a year, so I knew that selling them for a year, I was like, I like Ram. I feel like I know they're a lot like Ford, Chevy, all that stuff. Every one of them, they have their fan base. I just really like the Ram trucks from my year of selling car experience, working at 4 different car lots. Not all. 3 were connected. So you're like, wow, man, you must have sucked. You go from 4 different car lots, 2 different car lots, but one had 3. It was like a big chain. We had 3
Oh, Mike, did
lots,
you get
so we
fired
sold
that many
we sold
times?
like everything. It was like domestic, foreign, all of it. Like we had a ton of stuff, and I was really impressed with Ram. Even though I'm a big Nissan guy, my car's a Nissan. Nissan
So
trucks aren't great.
I have a Nissan Rogue on my vision.
So you have a
board this
Nissan
year,
Rogue.
Yes, I do.
I have an Altima, and I love Nissan. I like their trucks, but they're not. They're just not. You know. Anyway, so like I have that, and I was like, well, but the Ford Raptor, I know is like really popular, and I like it, and so I was like, I went and found like what's the Dodge equivalent of a Ford Raptor. Boom, printed that bad boy off. Found the
Nice.
color I wanted. Found a
you
good
go.
picture. I didn't find some like, oh, look at my new truck. I was like, no, I'm gonna find like a professional photography, like this thing's been photoshopped and looks good, there's no dust or anything.
Well, if you go
put
to
it on there.
if you're looking for a specific car, if you go to like car websites that are selling cars and they're in their lot all shiny and clean and sparkly at a
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's an advertisement
That's
picture.
what I have on
Yeah.
mine. And then when I actually went and test drove the car that I want, I test
Mm-hmm.
drove it and I'm like, yes, I want this car. He gave me his business card and was like, hey, if you decide you want this, here's my card. So I have his card and the picture, and I'm like, I'm gonna call
Nice.
him one of these days. It's gonna happen.
All right,
It's gonna
cool.
happen.
Well, guys, as you can see, vision boards it's not magic. It's not the secret. It's not like you just think it and then it happens, but it's a tool. And it's a powerful tool. So it'd be like you know, when you use a tool and there's like torque, right? And you're like, oh, I can't lift that, or I can't get that bolt undone, but you get a longer wrench, you have more torque, and you can do it. It's like that. It's a vision board is a tool, and it has a lot of torque. So like goal setting is good, and it's like that's going to be like your main wrench, but like a vision board is like that big plumber's wrench with that extra torque that's going to really help you. And as you heard with him, like it doesn't mean you have to hit them all. Like you can just move them around, you can drop some off. And I think I talked about this a little bit in that episode. I'm doing vision boards for the first time. I've known about them for years, but I've always just I've had lists, and I like to have my 10. I heard this years ago while I cleaned my pool one day. The guy said I have 10 goals. And this is what I talked about.
What you were doing when you heard it?
Yeah, it's just the way my mind works.
That's pretty impressive.
Which is funny because my mind is so visual. I remember like exactly where I was, but then like why would I not have? So that's why I think is odd. So like I am that visual. Why would I have a vision board? I've always had lists. Grant Cardone's also big on lists, but like this one guy, he said like I put down my top 10 priorities for the year. And he's like, I try this. I went more into this in that past episode. I'll link it up in the description. When he was like, like you try to hit, 6 to 8 of them or whatever. Because if you get less, then they weren't hard enough. Or they were too hard. If you get more, they weren't hard enough. So I've always done that. And I've just never I've literally have in Dropbox folders of pictures to make a vision board since like 2016. I just haven't done it. And this year I was like, I'm going to do it. I went down.
You had a friend that challenged you and was like, "Hey, it really
yeah," and I was like, "I gotta do it." And so I was like, I went down. I bought two cork boards and a whiteboard because I just can't work without a whiteboard. I can't function without a whiteboard.
So I actually did mine. I went to Staples website and I used the poster design and I just put my pictures on there. Funny thing is, some of the pictures I knew like visually what I wanted, but I was like, what does it represent to me this year?
Yeah.
So I actually did the backwards way. Like you're supposed to write the list and then find the pictures. I actually found the pictures.
Okay.
And then went, what does this mean to me? And then I wrote out like 10 goals based on the pictures.
Yeah.
So I worked backwards this year, which is interesting. So.
Yeah, we'll see what. Apparently, it's working for you. So do it backwards, guys.
He's telling me, he's like, you need to put more stuff on there. I still have things that I really need to accomplish.
Put some stuff on there for me. Come on. It's like a magic genie, Just
some of it actually probably has to do with both of us. So.
Yeah, cool.
Well, maybe it does.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, this is I'll wrap it up because it's a bit of a longer episode, but go look into some vision boards. If you do a quick Google search, there's articles about the benefits and how to do it and why to do it and all that kind of stuff. Again, think torque. It's a tool with torque. It's not some magic secret thing. I'm gonna think of something I want and drink a bunch of Cokes and eat Twinkies and watch TV and it's gonna magic. I'm gonna have $1 million. It's a tool and it drives you. Like he said, it causes you to figure things out, get out there and do the things you need to do to actually make it work. So go try it.